LaxFactor Podcast.
So now we'll get into the college one. As I kind of said, we were going to cover news items, pro items, and then we would get into the college crap here. So the last time in the last episode, the college crap that I discussed, it was Penn State. A bunch of guys on the Penn State roster that had to step up in order to have them succeed next year, or have a similar year next year as they did this year. Just guys that have to step up to fill the voids of the guys that graduate. So we covered Penn State, and that was interesting. Guys like Grant Ament, Mac O'Keefe coming back, Folds coming back. Defensively, everybody's got to step up. More importantly, Kobe Knies. Today, let's do Yale for craps and giggles here. So Yale, they've had great success the last two seasons. They won a national championship in 2018. 2019, they returned to the title game only to lose to Virginia. So Yale returns a boatload of guys. Yale, actually, they return most of their guys on both sides of the field. So as we get into, we know all the obvious guys that have to play huge for them. On attack, they return everybody, so I'm not really worried about those guys either. Really, it's their midfield was where they experienced most of their losses. So if we look at the guys that they lost, Joey Sessa, Jack talked Ty very well, John Danigelis, Brendan Rooney. Like, they lost a bunch of legitimate midfielders that contributed a great deal on the offensive end of the field. And so the guys that I have listed here is the guys that need to step up the most to try to help fill that void, and it's especially at the midfield. Brian Tevlin and Lucas Cotler. I think they're going to be two very key players returning to this midfield because they lost a shit ton of midfield power to graduation. And Tevlin and Cotler, they were the number 6 and number 8 leading scorers on the team, respectively, last year. Yale's attack is loaded already, as I said. So Morrill, he's going to go over 100 points in this upcoming season. Brandow, he's going to probably hit 85, 90 points in this upcoming season. So, and the Undertaker, he's going to put up 70 or 80 points next season. So from an attack standpoint, they are good to go, and they're going to shoulder a bunch of that load, especially early on, I think, as they try to figure out the midfield and how these guys are all going to play. But Tevlin and Cotler, they both need to improve. They don't need to improve. These are both, I'd said it about Folds with Penn State. I say they need to improve and they need to have big seasons. They're going to do that. This isn't like I'm saying you guys need to do this or your team's hosed. They're going to do this and their teams are good to go because of these guys. Tevlin and Cotler are both very capable lacrosse players, high lacrosse IQ, just crazy motors. These are great guys. But they need to improve upon their point totals. They already both put up a bunch of points, so I'm not sure how much more they can improve upon their point totals, but I picture each of them putting up 10 more points than they put up last year. You would think that would kind of fill that void. The attackmen are going to eat some of those runs and eat some of those points also. But I think those two are going to be looked to anchor the offense. They're going to be looked to anchor not the offense, but the midfield. And then Yale has so much talent. They have so many attackmen on the roster that are sitting behind this talented group of 3 attackmen that could run midfield shifts. They have a couple of high-quality midfielders. They have guys on the roster already that are going to be willing to step up, and they have guys that are coming in that are going to be willing to step up. Not to mention, you've got the best face-off man in the country, possibly the best face-off man in the history of the game on your team. So, it's just like, it's a no-brainer that they're going to be solid and they're going to be okay, but I think that Tevlin and Cotler are going to come up huge and they're going to factor heavily in that. And really what it comes down to is I think those guys, Yale's making it back to the tournament. Yale has a ridiculously good chance of making it back to the Final Four, but I think that those two guys are going to be key in whether or not they get back to the Final Four and maybe get back to the finals again. And then from a defensive standpoint, they return the bulk of their long pole power. So I think that mainly the guy who needs to step up on the defensive side of the ball, obviously we'd like to see all their poles step up, but the guy that really has to improve, I think more than anybody else, is Jack Starr. Jack Starr has a national championship under his belt as a freshman. Jack Starr has a finals appearance under his belt as a sophomore. So, I mean, this kid has top-notch championship playoff experience, but he was 45% between the pipes. He had a 45% save percentage between the pipes 48% in 2018 as a freshman, and his save percentage went down in 2019 to 45%. So he shaved a little bit off. I think part of that is due to the fact that Yale's defense was younger last year than it was in 2018. So in 2019, they had lost a couple of polls. Fake was really the main guy coming back, and they had a lot of guys filling voids. This year, in 2020, I think they're in a much better position coming into the season with their long poles than they were in 2019. So hopefully he can get himself back up to the 48%. I think in the preseason, I had actually said that for Yale to repeat, Jack Starr was going to have to hang out in that area of 50% save percentage and try to improve upon his freshman year. He didn't, and they lost the national championship. Do I think that Jack Starr could have turned the tides and by himself won Yale that game? No. And it's not that he's not capable of doing it. So I'm just saying I'm not putting that on Jack Starr. I'm just saying in 2020, instead of seeing some regression in his save percentage, we need to see some more progression and see him get back up to 48% or better. I think that a sub 50% save percentage is going to become the norm in lacrosse as things speed up, as athletes get a little better, as offensive guys. We're starting to see data take over lacrosse. We're starting to see reps take over lacrosse. You know, in football, practice was football is those kids' lives. Basketball is those kids' lives when they're on these college campuses. In the past, that wasn't always as much the case in lacrosse as it has been over the last decade, I feel. So I think as these kids are just training more, life is going to get harder at the D1 level specifically for goalies. So I think Jack Starr has to step up. But, you know, you got Fake down there. You've got a bunch of defenders returning, so he's going to be okay. I'd like to see him back in the area of 48 to 50% for his save percentage. So that is that. What else do we got here on the docket to talk about? There was this one right here. Yeah, we're not even going to talk about that. So what we will talk about here, though, is what we're doing moving forward. I talked a little bit about it at the end of the last podcast, so I'll do that a little bit now. I'm going to do a lot more just informal, hey, I'm going to come down here for 30 minutes and ramble. I'm going to talk about random news. I'm going to talk about how my knee hurts or something like that. We'll do a lot more of that. The goal just being to put more content out regardless of what we think. You know, over the last year as I've been messing with this, the idea has been, let's come up with something that we know people are going to watch. So I would end up doing a lot of offensive-based podcasts where we're talking about specific teams, Hopkins, Syracuse, Duke, Virginia, teams that brought the views. So what you'll see with the last podcast, number 44, was I was more just rambling and it was more general. The views suffered. We didn't get over 1,000 views, which is really my goal for any one of these podcasts that I put up. I'm always trying to get over 1,000 views on YouTube alone for all of these. And then all the other areas that we post it and it gets views is just gravy from there. So I think initially as we kind of do a more random show, a longer form show, I'm actually timing the show, trying to come out at 30 minutes. So right now I'm looking at my clock behind the camera and I see that I'm at 25 minutes, 11 seconds at the moment. So we're trying to fill it so that we can come up with a way to put out 3 or 4 30-minute shows per week. We're going to put at least 1 or 2 of them up on YouTube for free, full show. And then maybe 2 or 3 shows a week we're going to put behind a subscription service that will probably come out in the area of $24 per year to start. And we'll probably run a sale for that as I get it started up late next week. So we'll probably run a sale for like $12 a year for the first people that sign up. And then it'll go to $24 per year. And really what you get is 2 or 3 30-minute podcasts a week through our website that you would have to go to watch them. And then you'd still get the 1 or 2 shows that we'll do per week. We'll probably do, moving forward, we're always going to keep a lot of this crap up free on YouTube. Probably what we'll do is we will do the preview show, like as we get into this college season, just like last year, we'll do the Thursday preview show that previews all the games that are about to take place that weekend. And we'll probably put that up as a partial. We'll put it up as a 30-minute show on YouTube. We'll put it up as a 10-minute show on YouTube where you'd have to watch the final 20 minutes through our website as part of the subscription service. But we'll give everyone a game of the week that we will preview here on YouTube. So you'll always get the preview show or at least one game previewed every week. And then you can watch the rest of the previews if you're a subscriber. And we'll put up our Monday or Tuesday review, the weekend review show. I think we called it the College Lacrosse Show. We'll put that out, full version of it, every Monday or Tuesday. on YouTube for everybody to enjoy. And then we'll always put crap up on YouTube here. But the reality is YouTube is demonetizing more and more of our videos. So if we want to continue and we want to be able to make money, even just a little bit of money to do this, so that it's worth my time to a degree overall. And then I can just continue to do a good job, to continue to splice highlights into the videos and just try to improve the production as time goes on. In order to do that, we're going to have to move into some kind of pay to play or pay to watch, I guess in this case, format. But I promise it will be reasonable. And what we'll probably do too is we'll probably have the $24 a year for just the base one, and you just get the subscription. I believe what we'll do is a $48 package that will include a t-shirt and your subscription. It'll be a t-shirt that you can only get by buying the subscription, limited edition t-shirt, and we'll do a different one each year. And then for, I believe it was $84 or $86, I forget what it was. In the 80s, we'll end up doing the subscription for a year, that limited edition t-shirt and a limited edition pair of shorts, something, like cool, like these like the dye sublimated Maryland flag shorts. So that's the idea with the future. We're going to always continue to put out at least 2 shows a week on YouTube for free. Both of them will probably end up being in the area of 30 minutes long. And then we'll also put up another 2 or 3 shows a week on the LaxFactor.com website, either behind a paywall, a cheap paywall, or maybe even free, depending on how it works. But I'm curious to get your guys' feedback on that. Would you be willing to ditch the friendly confines of YouTube to visit our website to watch a video, either for free or paid as part of a subscription if it was the deeper stuff? So I'm curious what you guys think about that. I'm curious, what else do you want to see us cover? Topics, Q&As. Are there questions that you would like to ask with my opinion on various things that you'd like to see me answer on the fly? We'll do that too. I don't know what we're going to call it. We should call it something cool. So for the most part, though, I'm here because you guys are watching. So I want to make sure that I'm talking about the shit that you guys are interested in. So in the comments down below, as the kids like to say, let me know. Would you be willing to buy a $24 per year subscription to get through, in essence, 160 minutes of content per week? So you pay $24 a year, you get 130, hour and a half. Would you be willing to pay $24 a year for an hour and a half of me rambling about lacrosse every week? Plus, you'll get your free stuff too, another hour worth of content free. The idea being we're going to do 5 30-minute shows per week. 2 of them for free, 2 of them as part of the subscription service. Does that sound like something y'all would be willing to do? And then beyond that, what else would you like to see? Q&As, I think, are something that we have to start getting into more. You just have to start asking more questions openly in the comments. What other topics? I know a lot of people are happy to now see me get back into talking at least about the PLL. I just haven't had time or bandwidth to devote to the MLL yet. We've trying to cover a little bit more youth club lacrosse. I think I want to do more segments on telling parents to fuck off with their asshole attitudes and their harassment of officials, their bad mouthing of coaches. They're trying to coach other people's kids. I think that we're going to start doing maybe some kind of segment devoted to parents not being assholes. I think that's going to be key. I think that's something that the lacrosse community needs to jump behind overall, legitimately. So that's it. That's today's show. I'm at 30 minutes and 30 seconds of rambling to y'all, so I think that's probably good. I will be back next week. We'll probably put out another 2 shows on YouTube for free next week again, and then we're going to start rolling out the subscription service. We're going to start rolling out the other things that we're doing. We're going to improve upon the format. I'm actually going to try to get somebody to more often, a second person to come in and sit in my second chair or first chair, we'll call over here, so that, we'll do the show the same way, but we'll have at least someone else to chime in as I'm rambling here and there. So we'll try to pull that off here in the coming weeks. And that is pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Enjoy, and I will see you guys next week.